Hi, it's Chelsea from Binge Breakthrough. In this video, I want to talk about self-criticism. The reason I want to talk about self-criticism is because of how powerful it is, how much it underlies so much of what drives us, from our words and our actions and our behaviors to our thoughts and our patterns, and specifically our patterns around eating. And self-criticism, if you have a relationship with food that doesn't make you feel very good, I would guess that you probably have a lot of self-criticism, right? You're either doubtful that you can have control when you eat, or you tell yourself things like, oh, I can't possibly have just one cookie, I'll eat the whole bag, or, oh God, hell with it, I already blew my diet this week, I might as well go ahead and just have the rest of this ice cream, or whatever it is that you tell yourself when you sit down to eat something and you're not feeling particularly proud of yourself for doing so. And I invite you to look at what that is, because it's probably self-criticism, and it's probably a kind of self-criticism that I call an invisible script, right? This invisible dialogue. And the reason it's invisible is because it's something that you don't even notice, right? It occurs for you like it's reality. So you might say, oh, I can never eat just one cookie, I'll always eat the whole bag. And that's actually an invisible script or an invisible dialogue you have. It's not actually true. You could actually not eat the whole bag if you didn't want to, right? The bag doesn't come to you and you don't have, a lack of control over your actions. You actually don't have to eat the whole bag, but you believe that you couldn't possibly just eat one cookie and not eat the whole bag. And so that's the way you behave, because you have this script or this belief that's driving your behavior when it comes to eating cookies, right? And that's just an example of how an invisible script occurs as reality. And it occurs like it's true. And these invisible scripts, they come from a well-meaning place. They come from a part of our brain, our animal brain, or what's called our primal brain, right? It's a part of our brains that's formed to keep us alive. It's like our survival. It's the oldest part of our brain. It's the part of our brain that we share with like lizards and reptiles. And it's the part of our brain that some people call it like our ego. And it really has one purpose, which is to keep us safe and to keep us alive and to protect us. But when it gets triggered, say, if you restrict a certain food for a couple days on a new diet, and it gets triggered thinking that it's starving, or if someone says something that's hurtful to you, or you have an argument with someone, or you're just under stress because of just too many things going on, or whatever it is that's going on for you that has you feel slightly under stress, slightly under attack, it has your animal brain feel triggered. And when the animal brain is triggered, all it wants to do is to help you to survive, and it wants to keep you the way you've always been, and behaving the way you've always done, because that's something that's gotten you to the point of where you are today, right? So even if it's a very unhealthy behavior or a way of being or a way of eating that you don't like, your animal brain will try to still keep you in that way because that's what it knows, right? That's what it knows that's gotten you this far, and that's what it wants to keep you, doing and behaving, because that's the way it knows it'll stay alive. It's what it's used to, right? And so to break out of that pattern and to create, say, a new habit, or to behave differently with food, or to do something new is very scary for your animal brain that just wants to keep you alive doing the things it's always done, right? So when you try to do something new, or try on a new way of being, or try to, break an old habit, your animal brain is completely going to react to that, and it's going to tell you, oh, you can't do that, oh, you're not good enough, oh, you can't possibly just have one cookie, you're always going to finish the whole bag, or, oh, you're just so weak when it comes to food, or blah, blah, blah. Whatever these thoughts are that are going on in your head is coming from an animal brain that's triggered, and it's just trying to keep you the way you've always been. And it's going to show up for you like it's real. It's going to show up for you like that's just the way it is. It's not going to show up for you like, oh, that's just my animal brain telling me this because it wants me to stay the same way I've always been, right? You're not going to notice it. It's invisible. And that's the key to being able to become aware of it, because once you can notice it, that's when you start to have leverage, because then you can notice it, and then you can decide whether you want to, listen to it and decide if it's right, or if you want to choose differently, knowing that it's just there trying to protect you. It's not there to do anything more than just keep you alive and keep you safe in the way that it knows how to. And so you can make a choice. So when you're in a moment when you're not really loving the way you're behaving, or you feel out of control with food, or you're eating something and you're overeating something and feel like you can't stop, look at the thoughts that are running through your head in those moments, and look what you're telling yourself about what you're doing. And see if you can start to hear something that sounds like it's actually a belief and not reality. And it's going to be hard to find because it's probably something that you've been telling yourself for many, 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 many years. And so it might be the way you've always been, right? And so it won't really show up as something that's not real. But deep down, you're going to know that it's not actually true. It's just the belief that you have about yourself because that's the way you've always been. When you start to notice these things, that's huge, right? That's a huge leap in being able to finally start to see what it is that's driving your behavior that you don't like, right? And when you can see what's driving your behavior, whether it's around food, whether it's around a particular relationship, whether it's around whatever it is in your life that seems to be a challenge, when you can start to see what's driving your behavior, that's when you truly have leverage. And that's when you can really start to transform what it is that's going on for you, when you can actually see what's happening. And until you can actually see what's happening and what's driving the whole situation, you can't really deal with it. You're just sort of, kind of grabbing for solutions and trying this diet and trying that diet and trying this solution, reading that book and buying this program. And you're doing all this stuff trying to figure out what in the world it is that's not working, that will keep you from, eating or being the way you want to be. And it's just because you can't even see what it is that you're dealing with. So I invite you to step back and really look at, especially when you're in a moment of just kind of not feeling good about yourself or feeling good about the way you're behaving or the way you're eating, just look at the thoughts that are going on in your head and see if you can hear the beliefs that are driving your behaviors. It's going to take maybe a little bit of effort. It might take talking out with a friend. It might take journaling. Whatever it is, you can start to see the thoughts that are underlying your behaviors. You're going to have huge leverage over yourself. And you'll be able to truly start to transform your relationship with your food and with your behaviors. If this is something that seems interesting to you, and if you're interested in finding out more resources around the way you eat and overcoming overeating, you can check out my free video course on my website at bingeeatingbreakthrough.com. Thanks for watching.